the Absolute Beginner Crochet series where we are looking at the treble crochet today, and if you use US terminology that is a double crochet. To start with, we need to take a slip knot and create a chain for our foundation chain. I'm going to go through it with you now, but if you need it to be worked through a little slower and a bit more detail, then I do have a tutorial on that within the Absolute Beginner series. So you're welcome to go and have a look at that if you need to. So taking our slip knot, we wrap the yarn around our finger, creating an X. We take the hook under the first loop and over the second to pull through, removing our finger, and then we can close the slip knot onto the hook there. So we're going to create a chain of 10 here. So taking the yarn over and pulling through the loop is chain 1, yarn over, through the loop is chain 2, yarn over and through 3, yarn over through 4, yarn over through 5, yarn over through 6, yarn over through 7, yarn over through 8, yarn over through 9, and yarn over through 10. So there we have our 10 chains for our foundation chain. Now we need to create a turning chain so that our work is at the right height to create the treble crochets along. So to do that, we need to chain an extra 3. So there is our 10th chain, but we need to create another 3. So 1, 2, 3, and that just means that we're starting at the height of our treble crochet there. So we're going to work in the top loop of our foundation chain here. Now, if you're following a pattern, it may ask you to go, if you turn, you can see the back bumps here. It may ask you to go in the back bumps, for example. However, as a beginner, this is definitely the right way to go when you're learning, just into that top loop. But to start with our treble, we need to begin with taking the yarn over. So you have 2 pieces of yarn on your hook. Then we go in to the stitch. So we go into that top stitch there. So you can see you have 3 loops on your hook. We're going to take the yarn over and pull through that first loop. So we still have 3 loops on our hook. We take the yarn over and pull through 2 of those loops. We then have 2 loops on our hook. So we're going to take the yarn over again and pull through the remaining 2 loops. So let's do that again. We start by taking our yarn over our hook. We're looking for our next stitch, what if you can see is here. So we want to go into that top loop there. We take the yarn over and pull through the first loop. We have 1, 2, 3 loops on our hook. We take the yarn over, pull through 2 loops. There's 2 loops on the hook. We take the yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Moving along to our next stitch here. We take the yarn over the hook first and we place the hook through our stitch. So we have 1, 2, 3 loops on the hook. Take our yarn over and pull through that first loop. So we have 1, 2, 3 loops now on our hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. We have 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Moving along to our next stitch, yarn over, hook through, take the yarn over, pull through. So we have 3 loops. Yarn over through 2 loops, and again yarn over through 2 loops. Next stitch, yarn over, hook through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, hook through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. So we have 4 remaining stitches, and what you might be able to see is that I'm using my thumb and finger to hold my work securely so that I'm able to take my hook through. So I'm starting holding on here to our chain stitches. So yarn over, through our stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then I want to secure our work here. So I'm moving over and I'm using my finger and thumb to keep that in place. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. 3 more, yarn over through our top stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, hook in, yarn over through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, and we have 1 stitch left, so yarn over into that stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. And as we did our other end here, once you've done your first row, you then need to create your turning chain so that we are right at the correct height to work our trebles. So we want to chain 3 for a treble. So 1, 2, 3, and then we will turn our work round. So you should hopefully see more clear. I always find that that foundation train is the trickiest row to work into, but now we've got that out the way, you can hopefully see clearly some V's, which is our stitches at the top. So once we've done our chain 3, we're going to miss this first stitch here. So there's our first V shape stitch. However, because we've done a chain of 3, that counts as our first treble, which is why we miss this stitch and move on to the second stitch here. The reason we do that, if you can see, I did a little swatch here to demonstrate. You can see that the edges are in a zigzaggy shape. That's because there's kind of 2 trebles in each, at the end of each row. This is going to ensure that we don't have that zigzag shape. Once I finish this swatch, I'll show you them next to each other so you can see them. But what we're going to do is go into that second stitch here. So there's our first stitch, but we have our 3 chain, so we're going to go into our second here for our first treble, to our first stitch, and as you can see, you've got that V on there, so there's actually 2 now instead of the 1, and we have our other 2 loops here. Then we're going to take our yarn over and pull through the stitch, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. So we take that yarn over, we go into that V stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over to start, into that stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. And this is a really lovely stitch to work with because it works up so quickly, where you've got the height with it. So it's a really nice stitch, and if you've seen any granny squares, which is a favourite of mine, this is the stitch that is used within granny squares. So we've got 5 more there to complete the row. So yarn over, top stitch, yarn over through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. Take the yarn over first. I don't know what's happened to the yarn there. Something's gone on there. Yarn over through, yarn over up, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through that top stitch, pull through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, and our final one, top stitch there, pull through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. So there we have 2 rows of our treble crochet / double crochet. So to move up to the next row, remember that you need to chain 3, 2, 3, and turn your work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue a couple more rows to make a swatch so you can see what that looks like, and then I will show you how we cut the yarn and weave in the ends. So as I mentioned before about the edges, I've done 2 little swatches here. This one you can see that I haven't missed the first chain, where this one I have, where that treble counts as, sorry, the 3 chains count as the first treble. So you can see the difference that makes in our edging. It's a bit more zigzaggy here and straighter here. So that is why we miss our first chain. Okay, so I have completed my little swatch here, which if I separate out, you can quite easily see the amount of rows that I've done. It's nice and easy to tell with the treble crochet. So you can see you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows there of the treble crochet. So now I'm going to show you how to cut your ends and weave them in. But before we do that, we wanted to create a little knot at the top to secure that in place. And to do that, we're simply going to chain 1. And you want to make sure that you leave a long enough piece of yarn to weave in your ends. I can already tell that my starting chain here, I didn't leave enough. And then pull that through and just make sure that's nice and tight to secure in place. So you then want to take your yarn needle, thread that through. So what we're going to do is weave our yarn into our work, and we want to try and do that as discreetly as possible. So I'm going to try and work in here. I don't know if you can see there, but if I go a bit closer, if you do go in between the yarn, that is absolutely fine. Don't worry too much if you do that. And then pull through there. And you want to make sure that you're not doing this too tight. If you can see here, as I'm pulling it, it's pulling the end in. If you do that, don't worry, because you can stretch it back out. At an appropriate spot, I like to go down a row here and work my way along. And then I like to go back along, but you do need to make sure that you're not going back on yourself. Can find a different spot, but on that same path to secure that in place. And then once you're happy with that, you can cut your end off. And then we want to do the same with our starting yarn here. However, I don't think I left it quite long enough to do it 3 times like we just did then. So I'm just going to go twice through. I'm going to work my way along there. Making sure I don't do it too tight. And then work my way back through. There we go. And then I can cut my end. And there you have it, a treble crochet stitch. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it's helped you on your crochet journey and that you're able to create something beautiful using the treble crochet stitch / double crochet if you use US terms. Thank you so much and happy crocheting!